Hey, it's English from A to Z. Today, we're diving into phrasal verbs for eating. Get ready to sound like a native in real-life conversations. Let's go. Welcome back to the deep dive. This session is focused entirely on linguistic utility. We have pulled our source material straight from BBC Learning English, specifically their focus feature on phrasal verbs for eating.
That's right.
Our mission today isn't just to learn new words, but to fundamentally alter the way you describe daily consumption. We want to move beyond the foundational vocabulary, beyond simply saying, I eat food.
Yeah, the basics.
Exactly. We want you to be utilizing dynamic conversational phrases that instantly make you sound more fluent, more natural, and, well, much more dynamic.
And this is exactly where advanced learners often hit a plateau, wouldn't you say? Phrasal verbs are notoriously tricky.
Definitely.
Because they combine a verb and a particle, a preposition or adverb, and their meaning is often, well, opaque or idiomatic, not always obvious.
Right, not literal.
But mastering them is really non-negotiable for true fluency. The 6 verbs we're covering today are exceptionally high utility. You will hear and use them daily, in settings ranging from the office break room to the family dinner table. If you deploy them correctly, you unlock a more sophisticated, authentic rhythm in your English. It just sounds better.
That rhythm is the goal. We're extracting practical conversational tools from this deep dive, but we're focusing on speed and confidence, which can really only come from mastering the underlying architecture.
Sort of structure, yeah.
So we'll cover the 6 key verbs in detail, but crucially, we will dedicate significant time to the 4 essential grammatical top tips that the source provides. These tell you how to construct the sentences correctly.
Which is vital.
Because knowing the word is only half the battle, right?
Yeah.
Knowing where to put the object, that's the rest.
Absolutely critical. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, let's unpack this. And maybe start not with the big main events, the meals, but with the filler moments.
Good idea.
The casual consumption that happens outside of proper meal times. We're beginning with 2 indispensable verbs for informal eating habits. Snack on and munch on.
Right, and it's important to establish the context for these 2 first. They both fall under the umbrella of, low-key informal eating.
Okay.
But their distinction is rooted in different senses, actually. Let's start with snack on something. This verb is defined purely by its circumstances.
Circumstances, meaning?
Meaning it's about when and how much. It means to eat small amounts of something casually, specifically between meals.
Between meals. Okay.
It's about light sustenance, maybe managing hunger, or perhaps fueling an ongoing task. The focus is really on the timing and the quantity. Small amounts between proper meals.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The source examples really lock down that feeling of continuous low-effort activity. For instance, she likes to snack on almonds while she works.
Exactly. It's not a dedicated break.
Right. That's not a break. That's ongoing practical fueling. It shows you, the listener, that the consumption is secondary to the main activity, like work. It's sort of a backdrop activity.
Or like the second example illustrates, the kids were snacking on biscuits while watching the film. Again, passive consumption during leisure time, not the main focus.
So it's casual small amounts between meals. Got it.
Yes, and we must note the grammatical structure right away because this is key for later. Snack on something requires the object. It's a transitive phrasal verb.
Meaning you can't just say, I snack.
Well, you could, but it sounds incomplete. You're always snacking on something specific. The object, be it almonds or biscuits, must follow the particle on.
Okay, so the structure in the source, snack on something, tells us it needs an object after on.
Exactly. And it also tells us immediately that this verb is inseparable. You cannot put the object between snack and on. You can't say snack almonds on.
Right, that sounds weird.
It's always snack on almonds. Or snack on them. But we'll get to pronouns later in the grammar deep dive. The key here is object required follows on.
Okay. That leads us perfectly to its close relative, munch on something. I'm curious, what's the core differentiator here? If both describe casual consumption, why do we need two verbs? It feels like snack on covers it.
But the core difference is sensory. It shifts the focus from timing and quantity, which was snack on, to sound and texture.
Oh, interesting. Sound and texture.
Yes. Munch on is defined as eating something casually but notably in a way that usually makes an audible crunching sound.
Grunging.
When you use this verb, you're adding an immediate layer of descriptive auditory detail to the conversation. It implies, a bit more effort in chewing, something noisy.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So if I'm eating something soft and quiet, like a handful of smooth grapes, I would snack on them.
Probably, yes. Snack on fits better there.
But if I switch to a handful of crispy potato chips, or maybe a big crunchy carrot stick.
Then the action instantly shifts to munching.
Exactly.
You'd say you're munching on the chips or munching on the carrot.
Wow. So the simple act of choosing the right phrasal verb adds texture and sound effects to my speech. That's quite cool.
Precisely. And the examples highlight this perfectly. He's munching on his apple. You immediately visualize, or rather hear, a crisp, fresh apple being devoured with noticeable sounds.
Yeah, you could almost hear the crunch.
And the other quintessential example, they munched on popcorn at the cinema. Popcorn is the ultimate crunchy, noisy, communal cinema snack.
You definitely can't eat popcorn silently.
Right. And the verb munch on captures that reality perfectly. It evokes the sound.
So this choice snack on versus munch on, it really shows you, the learner, how nuanced English can be. It's not just about finding a synonym.
Not at all.
It's about choosing the right linguistic tool to convey specific descriptive detail.
Exactly. And if you forget the sound rule, or if it's ambiguous, maybe something semi-soft, snack on is probably the safer fallback for any small item eaten between meals.
Okay, good safety net.
But if you want to add that color, that sensory description, always go with munch on for anything requiring a good crunch. Apples, carrots, nuts, popcorn, chips.
Got it. Snack on for the general, munch on for the crunch.
You've got it.
We've mastered the quiet in-between moments then. Snack on. Acha. Now let's shift gears to the structured meal. What happens when the main event is actually served?
Yes. The main course arrives.
We need language that captures the excitement, maybe, of sitting down to a feast, and also the command sometimes needed to finish it.
Right. We begin with the enthusiastic start, dig in or tuck in to something. These phrases are powerful because they convey far more than just start eating.
Rather than just begin.
Much more. They mean to start eating excitedly or enthusiastically, often driven by hunger or just appreciation for how good the food looks or smells. They're kind of like invitations to abandon strict table manners for a moment and just focus on enjoying the food.
Okay, so real enthusiasm. And their dual function is key, you mentioned.
Yes. They can describe your own eager action like, wow, that lasagna smells incredible. I'm going to dig in.
Okay, describing myself.
But they are probably even more commonly heard imperatively, as an invitation or a social cue for others to start.
Like when the host says it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The food looks delicious. Let's dig in. That's the green light we all kind of wait for at a communal dinner, isn't it?
Yeah, it breaks the ice. Releases the social tension of, can we start yet?
Precisely. Or, dinner's ready. Tuck in, everyone.
Okay, so dig in and tuck in. Are they basically interchangeable?
Mostly, yes. They both convey that enthusiasm. But there's perhaps a subtle, useful nuance between the two.
Okay.
Dig in often sounds a bit more immediate, maybe more robust, perhaps a little rougher. It literally evokes the idea of, digging a shovel or fork into something substantial.
Like really getting stuck in.
Yeah. Whereas tuck in often carries a slightly warmer, maybe more comforting connotation. It's a very common phrase in British English especially.
Okay. Warmer, comforting.
Often associated with comfort food, or maybe used when talking to children. Like the example, The children tucked into their pancakes with delight.
Right. That sounds cozy.
It implies a sort of cozy, satisfying, perhaps even protective feeling, not just immediate, raw hunger.
That's a great distinction. So tuck in suggests settled enjoyment, perhaps more comfort. Dig in suggests more immediate, maybe slightly less refined action.
I think that's a good way to put it. Both means start eating enthusiastically.
Okay. Now, if those verbs describe the enthusiastic start, then eat up or eat something up is the phrase for the conclusive, maybe mandatory finish.
Exactly. The definition is pretty absolute. Finish all the food on your plate. Complete consumption.
Finish everything.
Yes. And as you noted, the context here is paramount. This verb frequently appears as an imperative, a direct command or strong encouragement.
Like a parent talking to a child.
That's the classic context, yes. Parent-child interactions, maybe coaching context, eat up, you need the fuel, or any situation where completeness is necessary, usually for health, energy, or maybe just not wasting food.
The examples provided show that motivational versus disciplinary context perfectly. The first one is encouraging. Eat up. You got a big day tomorrow. You'll need the energy.
Right. It links completing the meal to a future benefit. Positive motivation.
And the second is the classic enforcement scenario. I think many of us heard this growing up. You'd better eat up all your vegetables before you leave the table.
That stresses compliance, the obligation to consume certain foods, usually the healthy ones, the ones you might not want to finish.
Absolutely. Now, here is where the grammar starts to get seriously interesting, and it sets up our later deep dive. The source lists this verb as eat up or eat something up.
Yes, pay attention to that structure.
That placement of the object, something, in the middle is the crucial signal, isn't it?
It absolutely is. That parenthetical structure, the something sitting between eat and up, is the signpost for separability.
Separability, meaning you can separate them.
Exactly. It means this verb gives the speaker flexibility. You can put the object, like your vegetables, after the particle up, saying, eat up your vegetables.
Okay, this sounds normal.
But you can also choose to split the phrasal verb and place the object in the middle. Eat your vegetables up.
Eat your vegetables up. Okay.
This is a key piece of information because that flexibility defines advanced fluency. It's a choice native speakers make, often unconsciously. And we will drill down into exactly when and why you might choose to separate the phrase in our grammar section. But the key for now is it's possible.
Okay, so eat up is separable, unlike snack on, which was inseparable. Got it.
You're connecting the dots. Perfect.
We've covered the nuances of eating inside the home, the start, the finish, the quiet snacks. Let's pivot now to two verbs that define the action either by location or by excessive quantity.
Right, moving outside the home, or maybe just eating way too much inside it.
Exactly. We have the extremely practical eat out and the often humorous, sometimes slightly charged pig out.
Okay, let's start with eat out. This has to be one of the highest frequency phrasal verbs related to food and social life. Super common.
I use it all the time.
Right. Its definition is simple. To eat somewhere outside of the home, typically a restaurant or cafe. Could be lunch, dinner, breakfast even.
So purely about location.
Yes. It's a simple, non-separable verb focused purely on the location not being at home. But its social and financial implications are, pretty huge in daily life.
It's incredibly efficient language, isn't it? Instead of saying, hey, do you want to go to a restaurant for dinner tonight? Okay, you just ask, shall we eat out tonight?
Much quicker, much more natural. The source examples confirm this duality of social desire versus financial reality.
Yeah, the first one acknowledges the cost factor. I love eating out, but it can be expensive if you do it all the time.
An unavoidable economic reality captured succinctly. We all know eating out costs more.
And the other example highlights its utility as just a practical domestic solution. We've got no food in the house, so why don't we eat out this evening?
Yeah, solves a logistical problem instantly. No cooking, no washing up. Crucially, eat out is often used intransitively,
Intransitively, meaning,
meaning it doesn't always require an object. You can just say, we eat out a lot, or let's eat out. You don't necessarily need to specify what you're eating out.
right. Unlike snack on something or munch on something, you just eat out.
Often, yes. Though you could say, let's eat out pizza, but it's less common than just saying, let's get pizza or let's eat out.
Okay, good point. Now, let's move from the location of consumption to the quantity of consumption, specifically the extreme end of the scale with pig out.
Ah, yes, pig out. This one's descriptive. It's defined as eating a lot of food, often in a greedy way, consuming much more than is perhaps needed or sensible.
Yeah, the name says it all.
It's an overtly descriptive phrase that uses that animal metaphor, acting like a pig at the trough, basically, to describe overindulgence. It implies excess, maybe even gluttony.
It sounds potentially quite rude, though, if I said he really pigged out.
Yeah.
That sounds critical.
It certainly can be critical, yes. But interestingly, it's very often used humorously, or perhaps most critically, self-deprecatingly, especially among friends.
About yourself.
Exactly. When you use it about yourself, oh man, I totally pigged out on pizza last night, you're kind of confessing to the excess. You're mitigating the potential rudeness by acknowledging your own behavior.
Right, owning it.
It rarely sounds truly aggressive unless you use it specifically to criticize another person's eating habits in a serious, non-joking way. Usually it describes intentional, or at least understandable, excess.
Okay, so context and tone are key. The source gives a great justification example. After the long hike, she pigged out on sugary donuts.
Exactly. The prior physical exertion sort of justifies the momentary lapse into excessive consumption.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You've earned it. You feel ravenous.
The body needed the sugar and calories, maybe.
Perhaps, or at least that's the feeling. And then you have the more ritualistic overconsumption described in the second example. We usually pig out on snacks when we have movie nights.
Right, like it's part of the plan. Pizza, ice cream, chips.
It's a planned indulgence part of the event itself. It's expected, almost celebrated in that context. This phrase, pig out, provides a fantastic contrast to snack on, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, totally opposite ends.
While both can describe casual consumption, snack on is small, controlled, often between meals. Pig out is large, uncontrolled, indulgent, often as the meal or event.
They represent opposite philosophies on the consumption spectrum almost.
Yes.
It defines the mood.
Exactly. Snack on is restraint, pig out is release.
Wow. Okay, 6 verbs down. Snack on, munch on, dig in, tuck in, eat up, eat out, pig out.
That's a lot toolkit.
We've built a robust vocabulary, but now we tackle the architecture. This section, the 4 grammatical top tips. From the source, this feels like the difference between just knowing a phrase and actually using it naturally and correctly.
This is where the confidence comes from, absolutely. We have to internalize these rules. Knowing the verb is like having the map.
Okay.
But mastering separability and object placement, that's knowing how to drive the car.
Got it. Okay, let's start with tip 1. Identifying object requirements. The rule given is, if you see the word something listed with a phrasal verb like snack on something, the verb requires an object.
This is fundamental. It tells you the verb is transitive. It has to act upon something.
Like we discussed with snack on.
Exactly. We saw this with snack on. You cannot just say, the kids were snacking. The question immediately arises. Snacking on what? We need to hear the kids were snacking on chips.
Okay.
Conversely, if there is no something indicated in the typical structure, like with eat out, it's often intransitive. It can stand alone.
Right. We decided to eat out, period. No object needed there.
Exactly. So that little something in the definition is a really important piece of grammatical information. Tells you if an object is mandatory.
Okay. Tip 1, check for something to see if an object is needed. Next, we dive into the flexibility. Tip 2, understanding separability, the middle something. This rule states that if something is listed in the middle of the phrasal verb, our example was eat something up, it means the verb can be separated by the object. But crucially, separation is optional.
Optional is the key word here. This provides great rhetorical flexibility, as we touched on with eat up. You can say, eat up your dinner.
Standard.
Or you can say, eat your dinner up. Both are grammatically correct.
So why would a native speaker choose one over the other? Is there a reason?
Often, yeah. It might be about emphasis or just the rhythm and cadence of the sentence. Sometimes, if the object is a very long or important phrase, say, eat up all those lovely vegetables Grandma cooked especially for you. Putting that long phrase at the end might flow better.
Okay, keeps the verb particle together.
Right. But if the object is short, like your broccoli, or if you want to apply specific emphasis to that object, you might separate it. Come on, eat your broccoli up.
Ah, puts the focus right on the broccoli.
Exactly. The flexibility is a benefit for stylistic choice. But the key grammar point is that separation is merely optional when the something is in the middle.
Okay, middle something means separable, but optional. Got it. Contrast that immediately with tip 3. Understanding inseparability, the end something. This is where learners often trip up, you mentioned.
This is a big one, yeah.
If something is at the end of the phrasal verb listing, like munch on something or snack on something, the rule is hard and fast. It cannot be separated.
Cannot. No flexibility here. This is a critical error to avoid if you want to sound natural. The word order must be verb plus particle plus object.
Always.
Always for these ones. We must say, she munched on the salty pretzels, or he snacked on the nuts.
And if you tried to separate it, like she munched the salty pretzels on.
A native speaker would immediately notice that. It just sounds wrong, clunky. The linguistic pattern is broken. The natural cadence is completely lost.
Yeah, I can hear that now. Munched the pretzels on doesn't flow.
Not at all. So for inseparable verbs, the ones with something, at the end, the object always stays at the end, following the particle. Verb, particle, object. Fixed order.
Okay, so middle, something. Separable, optional. And something inseparable, mandatory.
You've nailed the core distinction.
Okay, we've covered optional separation and mandatory non-separation based on where something appears. Now for the really crucial detail, the one you flagged earlier, the one that instantly separates the advanced learner from the native-like speaker. Tip 4, the pronoun rule.
This is it. This is the definitive aha moment for many learners. If you master this specific rule, you have unlocked a huge part of the natural rhythm of spoken English phrasal verbs.
Okay, I'm ready. What's the rule?
The rule dictates that when a pronoun words like it, them, him, her, us, me, you, is the object of the separable phrasal verb, like eat up.
Okay, only the separable ones.
Yes, only the separable ones. That pronoun must go between the verb and the particle.
Must. Not optional this time.
Absolutely must. It has zero flexibility. This is a hard rule.
Wow, okay. Let's drill this using our separable verb, eat up. Let's say the dinner consists only of vegetables, and we replace vegetables with the pronoun them.
Okay.
The rule mandates that you must say.
You must say, eat them up.
Eat them up. With the pronoun them in the middle.
Exactly. You must never say, eat up them, even though eat up the vegetables was perfectly fine.
Whoa. Okay, so eat at the vegetables is good, but eat up them is bad. It has to be eat them up.
Correct. The pronoun object must be placed in the middle of a separable phrasal verb. Let's practice with another one. If you're talking to a single donut that needs finishing, the pronoun is it.
Okay.
Using eat up, you must say.
I'll eat it up.
Perfect. Never I'll eat up it. If you're talking about, say, a whole cake still, it, did you eat it all up?
Eat it all up. Okay. The pronoun absolutely refuses to sit at the end of the sentence when the verb is separable.
It hates being at the end. It wedges itself firmly in the middle.
Okay, but why? Why is this rule so strict just for pronouns? Why is eat up them incorrect when eat up the vegetables is totally fine? It feels arbitrary.
It does seem arbitrary at first, but it comes down to sentence flow, rhythm, and linguistic pattern recognition. Think about pronouns it, them, her, him. They're usually short, unstressed words in a sentence.
Yeah, they're quick little words.
Exactly. Placing that between the verb and the particle maintains the natural sort of rising rhythm or stress pattern that phrasal verbs often have. Verb, pronoun, particle, da-da-da.
Eat them up. Okay, I hear that rhythm.
Right. When you try to put that light, unstressed pronoun at the very end after the particle eat up them, it feels awkward. It kind of fizzles out. It breaks the expected emphasis and weight distribution of the phrase.
Da-da-da. Feels less complete.
Exactly. The listener's ear, subconsciously, expects to hear that little pronoun nestled efficiently in the middle for speed and natural flow. It's just how the pattern evolved.
That makes more sense now. It's about rhythm and expectation.
Okay.
Let's quickly confirm what happens if we try to apply this pronoun rule to an inseparable verb, like our crunching verb, munch on.
Good test case.
We know munch on is inseparable from tip 3. So if the object is the pretzels and we replace that with the pronoun them, what happens? Where does them go?
Okay, so since munch on is inseparable, the verb munch and the particle on are essentially glued together. You can't split them.
Right.
Therefore, the pronoun must follow the particle, just like a regular noun object would. You must say, she's munching on them.
Munching on them. Okay, so the pronoun goes at the end there.
Correct, because you cannot break the munch on unit. You cannot say she's munching them on. That's impossible because the verb is inseparable.
So the crucial pronoun rule, tip 4 pronoun, must go in the middle.
Yeah.
Only applies to verbs that are already separable. Tip 2.
Exactly. You have to cross-reference the rules in your head. Is the verb separable? If yes, and the object is a pronoun, then the pronoun goes in the middle. If the verb is inseparable, the pronoun just goes at the end after the particle.
Wow. Okay.
This constant mental cross-referencing. This is why the source material probably stresses that dedicated, focused practice, maybe like doing worksheet exercises, is really essential.
Yeah, makes sense.
To make placing that pronoun automatic so you don't even have to think about it, it just sounds right.
Okay, those 4 tips are genuinely game-changing. Identifying the object, knowing if it's separable or inseparable based on the something, placement, and nailing that pronoun rule.
Master those, and your phrasal verb usage will skyrocket in accuracy and naturalness.
Wow, okay. We covered a tremendous amount of ground there. We moved from the quiet, structured analysis of small consumption with snack on and the noisy descriptive munch on,
The casual bites?
through the excitement of dig in and tuck in, and the finality, the command of eat up,
The mealtime bookends.
all the way to the location change with eat out and the sheer quantity of pig out.
Location and excess.
These 6 tools, used correctly with the grammar rules, they instantly upgrade your conversational capabilities way beyond basic English.
Absolutely. And remember, perhaps your biggest gain today wasn't just memorizing the 6 definitions, but grasping that architectural knowledge.
The grammar, yeah?
Understanding the grammatical structures, separability, inseparability, and especially that hard and fast pronoun rule, that's what truly solidifies your confidence.
Because you know why you're putting words where they are.
Precisely. If you can confidently use eat them up and instantly distinguish it from munch on them, knowing why they are different, you have already elevated your fluency considerably. You're thinking like a native speaker about structure.
That's the goal. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into linguistic consumption, here's a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to perhaps chew on.
Chew on, nice one.
We established that pig out uses an animal metaphor, the pig, to describe eating that is excessive, quick, maybe greedy. It captures one extreme end of the consumption scale.
Total indulgence.
So what linguistic choice do we make, or maybe what phrasal verb might exist in English, to describe the opposite end of that scale?
Ooh, Interesting question.
Specifically, how would we describe someone who eats too slow or too fussy? Maybe someone who only seems to be nibbling at their food or pecking at it like a bird.
Right. If pig out is too much, too fast, what's too little, too slow, too careful?
Exactly. Think about how language relies on these descriptive metaphors, often animal metaphors, to capture human behavior around something as fundamental as the dinner table. If excessive consumption is linked to the pig, what animal, or maybe what simple phrasal verb, do we commonly rely on to describe someone eating too little or too carefully?
That's a great thing to ponder. It invites you to continue connecting those linguistic dots, exploring the descriptive power you gain once you move beyond just the simple verbs like eat. What other nuances can phrasal verbs capture?
Keep practicing these 6 high-utility phrases, maybe try out the grammar rules until they roll right off the tongue.
And keep listening for more phrasal verbs in conversation. They're everywhere.